Okay, this one's totally dark, dude. I'm gonna bitch a little bit about online dating. I promise I won't go on for long, but let me show you a real life example, because a lot of times people are like, okay, dude, for real, like, we think you're kind of exaggerational and stuff like that, and women, they just really, you need to be patient with them, all that bullshit. Okay, but seriously, like, okay. The girls on online dating, they just, okay, let me show you a great example. Okay, let me keep my bitching to a minimum here. Let me provide constructive, because you know, Emmett Fox says there's love is constructive or love is creative and fear is destructive. All right, so here you go. Sometimes online dating drives me to jacking off. Okay, I mean, like, okay, well, let me rephrase that, because I don't have an editor. Okay, editor, it's not driving me, jack me off, it just drives me like, okay, seriously, it just pisses me off. And then when I show up at the date, I'm like so fucking pissed off. In fact, you know what, yesterday, you're like, tell me all about it. Okay, well, check out go to my Fibonojji, look at my Fibonojji. I'm gonna show you a real life example of what pisses me off, and I might offer a solution, because you know, I think maybe I should start a matchmaking service and like actually help humans meet each other, like humans meeting humans. Like, I mean, like just help them, because it's kind of like almost like a rehab for people who only know the internet. Because you know, I mean, the average, I like girls that are like 28 to 35, you know what I mean? Good credit. So really good credit, maybe like a nice car, perhaps like, you know, like a nice house, a good shower, where she has a good job. In fact, you know, I think the best model for women, if you look at a lion, you know, the lion he just sits there and he like tells jokes and LOLs and like fights everything, and the women go out and work, holy shit, and then we fuck that up. That's what the natives, anyway, don't get me on online date. Okay, seriously, like this stuff, if it doesn't happen so often, number one rule, guys, is that the women run the world. Like, Jews and women run the world. If you just know that, women and Jews run the world. They're going to get what they want. I mean, you know, they're going to get what they want. So, for example, like women, like, okay, so yesterday, I'm on Tinder, and this girl says that she likes horror movies, HORROR, and I'm like, okay. And like, dude, I'm like, I so want to say, hey, would you like to go see a horror movie tonight? And I'm like, John, you can't do that. She doesn't think your jokes are funny yet. So I asked her, do you want to go see a horror movie? You know? And then she's like, LOL, too time. It's too early. I'm like, dude, I'm on an online dating website, what they call Tinder, and I just want to, anyway. And remember, my only goal with these women is to meet them in person and have coffee. So that would be my matchmaking dating service. Like, meet in like kind of a spiff off Seinfeld, you know, where he goes, humans in cars getting coffee with comedians. Okay, here's the Fibonacci. Humans meeting over coffee, getting to know each other. That's what I think of as an online date. Or maybe just take a walk, you know, go take a hike, or anyway. So she said no, and she goes LOL, and that pisses me off, because for me, comedy's sacred. Everything's LOL. Like, did you literally LOL? Like, seriously, women need a sabbatical on those LOL. Okay, and then here's another thing. Like, some of these women have really cool profiles, and some of them have really bad profiles. And profiles are the picture part that you don't really read when you're 20. But when you kind of get a little older, you start to realize, like, you want a woman that has a fucking soul, or maybe a little. So you kind of pay a little attention to their profile. And she talked about that. Her name's Jessica. She says, she talks about how she likes to dress up in drag. And so she's like, I like avocados, I like hiking, I like traveling in drag. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I'm like, dude, I want like this chick. And so I tend to her, and I'm like, so what does that mean? That's such a Fibonacci. Like, what does that mean? I'm already in the headspace. Again, I just want to meet somebody for coffee. I don't want to talk about their drag tendencies. And she's like, and then I say, little joke, I said, does that mean Jessica becomes Jerry? you know. And then she responds, but holy shit. You know, and here's the thing. I'm all hashtag MRA, and so I like equality. I like equality everywhere. I'm thinking, you know, the things that women say to men can never say to a woman. Like, you know, like all this body shaming shit, you know, women are like, that's body shaming, that's hate speech. Like, you want to see hate speech? Go to a civil trial and see the way men are treated in a civil trial. I mean, that's modern day, you know, 1968 Alabama lynching, lynching a nigga. I mean, hey, we're just doing it for the best interest of the children. Like, dude, go watch the Salem witch trials where they like fucking like light somebody up on fucking fire and go, well, we thought they were a witch. I guess they're not, so I guess they're going to just go to heaven. I mean, like, that really fucking happened. That shit still happens in civil trials, dude. Civil trials. You know, back to like the double standard, even with dating. You know, some of these women, dude, the things that they will require of a man, and they're shopping, and I get the biological, they got ovaries, and they got fallopian tubes, and they want to have the picket fences, and whatever. They're like, I don't want picket fence, I just want, okay, every girl has a version, it's a metaphor of what the white picket fence is. Yours might not be a white picket fence. Yours might be a Manhattan skyrise. Your might be a, you know, something in Colorado, but every woman has that ideal. And then about 22, she's like, I want someone to give me that ideal. And then that's what we call online dating. It's not really about dating and getting to know each other and forming relationships of, you know, it's not what guys actually think. It's mostly women going, I have this ideal and I want a man to bring it about for me. See, when men want something, we go, dude, how hard am I going to have to work to get that? When a woman wants something, she goes, I need a boyfriend to give me that. Like, literally, it's nuts. So I'm on Tinder, and does Jessica become Jerry? And then, but I'm so proud of myself, I didn't call it a whore, H-O-R. And then the girl I really like, there's always like that, you know, and there's always that girl that you kind of really think is actually kind of cool. And then she's, you know, she's like 32. And I finally said, dude, it's been a week. I said, I want to meet. She's like, and the thing about these really, really good looking girls is that it's just, you got to just keep in mind, they got like 400 guys on their ass right now. And I told her, I said, I bet you're not single. And then I said, I bet you're not emotionally single. And, you know, the fact is, a lot of women, they're not emotionally single. They might be physically single, but they're not emotionally single. And, you know, these are the things you know at 40. You know, there's a difference between being married and really married. You know, a lot of people, you know, I used to say when I ran a mortgage company, I'm almost done here bitching. You're like, this better be good, seriously, because I'm so sick of this hate speech motherfucker. He said nigga, that's a soft A. Okay, here you go. You know, I spent 10 years building a mortgage company, and every 2 years I had to get recertified and go and basically reapply to have my business every 2 years. And I did that for 10 years, and we had audits, and very few people know what a small finance company goes through just to stay in business. Like, before you fucking walk in. So, by the way, just don't use the big banks. Use small banks as long as you can, because you really got to help those guys out. But those guys, seriously, they need to get together and form a collective. I'll do it, seriously. Like, what's a collective? Now I'm talking about financial collectives. Yeah, anyway, don't get me on that. But I will write that down, financial collectives and why they're important. Holy shit, I'm going to educate you guys on something. Maybe I'm just going to talk to myself. Anyway, back to online dating and relationships. Financial collective. I think he's writing his shit down for the next thing. He's calling it financial collective. He's talking about how Dodd-Frank is actually going to move this country to economic collapse unless we don't have a small local infrastructure. It's gonna be like, you know, like George W. Bush times 10. Holy shit, that'd be terrible. I wouldn't get many pennies then. Holy fuck. Yeah. Financial, we got to really support the local banks, and the local banks have to live independent of Dodd-Frank. Nobody has the balls to do that though. When you start telling a local bank I'm going back to relationships in a second. And again, I spent 10 years doing this. So I'm not some like fucking PhD guy that studied this from afar, you know. I watched it every fucking day for 10 years. When you tell a local bank and you ask the question, in fact, send this to your local small bank CEO and say, how much does your FDIC insurance cost you? And write that number down. Of course, it would take them about 6 months to really write that shit down. How much does that FDIC insurance cost you? And then I'd say it's time for the local banks to stop operating within an FDIC system and form financial collectives. MyLendingPlace.com. Holla, nigga. Okay, back to relationships. Every 2 years, I had to get recertified, dude. Every 2 years. And I was kind of going through my divorce. I think I've been divorced 7 years, something like that. And I ran a company for most of my career. I was single, so for 10 years I was just building this company. That's all I did. Kind of moved my codependent relationship to a work codependent relationship, and then every 2 years I had to get recertified. And I remember thinking every 2 years I thought, what if people had to reapply to get married? Every 2 years they had to literally dissolve everything, move out. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but what if every 2 years you had to recertify that relationship? Would you renew? And then I think there's so much wisdom to re-upping marriage license. Every 2 years you got to reapply. And then we have #MRA, and there's no penalty to walk away. It's okay if he wants to go away. He's not going to be penalized for 18 years because men are just as important as women in civil trials, no matter what we think. Otherwise, it's a woman. All right, guys. I'm solving problems, taking names. I'm taking names, nigger. Nigger, I'm taking names. Forming financial collectives, telling women how to date. Okay, women, do this. Just give men something to work with that's not cliche. Like when you text something, just think, is it cliche? Okay, women on Bumble and Tinder, is it cliche? Then don't say it. Cliche, don't say. That's what JJ be hollering today. All right, you guys be good. Fucking on me here. Bye. Email me, Americana417@gmail.com.